Second task. The next morning, Dumbledore's office. You have no idea how difficult it was for me, Albus, to go through with it. Minerva's face was so overcome with guilt she couldn't lift her eyes from the floor. I know, Minerva, but it's for the tournament. My hands are tied. The old wizard took a look at Barty Crouch, who seemed less bothered by this than the rest of them. Severus was the too, and while he had protested everything the night before, he couldn't say much right now. You have no idea how angry that woman's going to be once she finds out. Severus put his face in his hand. When she gets here. He stopped when everyone suddenly heard thundering footsteps storming up the staircase and suddenly kicked the door down. The wood broke off the door frame and the door itself about split in half. You senile old fool. It was Charlotte Priet, face as red as her hair and eyes flashing dangerously like fire. Oh yes, she was furious. Did you think you can get away with this? Lady Priet, please calm down. Crouch tried, but Charlotte yanked out her wand. Shut up, you coward. She looked ready to pounce at him. Tell me why none of you bothered to mention that Harry is involved in the next task. Where is he? He's safe, Lady Priet, rest assured. That time Charlotte drove the tip of her wand into Crouch's throat. He's safe. I'll believe it when I see it, and what I've just seen is not something I'd call safe. Charlotte turned to Snape. Did you know? Not until last night, after it happened. She glared at him. Cowardly of you, and you couldn't stop it. You didn't see it. Snape snarled at her. You call yourself a seer and you didn't see this coming? He regretted saying that when she was nose to nose with him, her angry eyes blaring like firecrackers. My powers don't act upon command, you imbecilic dung brain. True, I can look around and see more than I choose, but that's only within a certain time frame. If I look too far ahead, it strains me. She grabbed him by the collar of his robes and yanked his head down slightly, and then slapped him. Lady Priet. McGonagall gasped in shock. Don't speak of things you don't understand. Snape fell to the floor and then Charlotte turned to McGonagall. You did this. What did you do? Where is he? Her glare had the older woman unnerved. You have your father's temper, and Molly's rage. Charlotte's fury grew by a mile. Don't make me hurt you. I'm Harry's guardian. Why was I not informed of this? And unless someone talks in the next 10 seconds, I will inform my own minister of this, and believe me, you don't want that. She was willing to take legal action. Yes, that was not what they needed right now. Charlotte, this is a part of the tournament, but Harry is in no danger. Dumbledore's twinkling eyes almost lost their twinkle for a moment. Like he wasn't during his first 3 years here? Under your supervision, with your teachers lurking about? Her words were dripping like venom. Obviously she held no trust for anyone in the room, and frankly no one could blame her. Lady Priet, I assure you Mr. Potter is fine. The hostages are in no. You have them underwater unconscious with their ankles tied to a statue. Don't tell me there's no danger. Crouch was getting angry. Charlotte's temper was a monster compared to Molly, but if she wasn't reassured soon she'd likely start hexing someone. They will survive, Charlotte. We won't let them get hurt. That is the catch of this task. Do not call me by my first name. You will never earn that privilege. She growled. Victor. Where is he? In an infirmary, but he will be fine when it's time for the task. That is in an hour, and while I know the outcome of the task, it will not save you if anything happens to him or the others. Her glare was fierce. I'm going to be involved with this. I will watch it go, but if anything is amiss I will dive into the water myself. She turned to the door, waved her wand and mended it, and then turned her attention back to Albus. I must say, Charlotte, you still astound me in your protectiveness over Harry. Her eyes narrowed. Harry might not be my son by blood, and I may have had him for a short time, But there is nothing I wouldn't do for him. You would do well to remember that." With that said, she left the office, but her footsteps echoed down the stairs and almost down the entire corridor. "That woman," Crouch all but growled, "is not one to anger. She is much worse than her aunt." Severus stood up and stayed back until after Charlotte left. "I will not press charges." "Are you sure, Snape?" Crouch seemed skeptical. "I am. Should she try anything else, I will take care of the situation myself." He brushed off his robes. "Albus, what on earth did you do to make the girl hate you so much?" McGonagall looked to the old wizard, and he just sighed. "Now's not the time to tell stories, Minerva. The task will begin soon and we'd best gather up the students. Let's just hope this goes all well. We can't expect much else right now." All adults in the room quivered at the possible chance of meeting Charlotte's rage again. They could only hope this task would go according to plan. Black Lake Pier. "You sure you're all right, Victor?" The whole group of Durmstrang minus Harry were in a boat leading them to the stands just above the spot where the second task would begin. Victor woke up in the infirmary almost an hour ago, and he noticed that Harry wasn't there beside him. He then remembered the night before, they solved the clue and then some teacher showed up and all went black. "I will be once I find Harry." Victor realized what the clue meant now. His boyfriend was taken captive for the task, so he had to rescue him from the mermaids of the Black Lake before the hour was up. He prayed Harry was all right. No doubt the judges had ways to keep the hostages alive until the task was over. He even heard Charlotte was furious on accounts of the events, but he knew she wouldn't let anything happen to Harry that she couldn't prevent. "You'll get him back, mate. We know you will, and Harry's tough, he can make it." "Perhaps, but I'll feel better when I have him up here with us." They made it to the stands and Victor noticed the other champions on the bottom. The open spot was for them to dive underwater, and thankfully Victor had the perfect spell ready for him to find Harry in the dark dresses. "Has anyone seen Lady Priet?" Devon looked around. "She's up there." Nikolai pointed to the stand above them to the left, and there was Charlotte dressed in tight pants and a black jacket with her red hair pulled up. She caught them staring at her, and she nodded their way. "That either means good luck, or she knows something." Gerard looked at the others. "She does, but worry about it later, it's about to start." Nikolai whispered and the other champions were in place. "Attention all." Dumbledore's voice echoed over everyone from above, likely where the judges were waiting. "Welcome to the second task, everyone. Last night, something was stolen from each of our champions, a treasure of sorts. These are 3 treasures, one for each champion, lies at the bottom of the Black Lake, and each champion need only retrieve their treasure before the hour is up." At the sound of the cannon, all champions. Just before Dumbledore could finish, the cannon went off and all 3 champions dove into the water. "Hang on, Harry, I'm coming." Victor quickly used his wand to shift the upper part of his body into half a great white shark. He could breathe and move underwater fast, but he would have to find the nest of mermaids before the hour was done or something might happen to Harry. He swam forward and went around trying to figure out where in this huge lake the mer people would be. They likely lived in the center, where it was more open and filled with fewer plants and hopefully no grindlows. Those little monsters loved hiding in the kelp, made it easy to catch prey, and that's where he saw Fleur going. "Avoid the place, I must find the mermaids." He knew it was likely someone was going to be there around the time he was, but he didn't have time to waste. Using his shark skills, he swam fast around some odd-looking rocks, and spotted a large cave. They wouldn't be in there. Mermaids wouldn't hide unless danger was close. Curse it, where are they? He swam fast, looking for the space, and then he saw it. There were some underwater remains of a building where he saw several mer people looking and watching Diggory free his hostage, a girl with dark hair, the same one he took to the ball, chained to a statue along with Fleur's sister Gabrielle, and Harry. How were they able to survive under here for so long? They had to have been enchanted. It was the only explanation. Take only one. He heard the mermaids hiss, the guarding ones with tridents. Diggory managed to get his girl freed and swam off with her, so Victor took the chance to swim and scare off the merpeople with his large teeth. He managed to loosen the chains round Harry, but suddenly Victor felt something come past him and cut his shoulder. Gah! It stung greatly underwater, and Victor turned around to see a mermaid with what looked like daggers in its hands. The boy. It whispered. He couldn't tell if it was male or female. Its body was shaped oddly despite the long lock. Give me the boy. What is that? Something was off about the creature. It looked like it was strained in some parts of its body, and it didn't almost look like a normal mermaid. Give me the boy or die. The voice was hoarse, hissing almost. Victor stayed in front of Harry, but he was worried they were limited for time, and where was Fleur? Her sister was still chained up. He might need a little help. Victor tried to cast a spell, but the creature moved aside and it struck some rocks. Gabrielle Delacour was suddenly yanked from her spot on the statue and the figure held a dagger to her throat. Hand him over, or she dies. The figure's form was beginning to falter. It wasn't a creature, it was a wizard. No, Fleur, where are you? Victor readied his wand, prepared to fight and try to free the girl, but he was almost at a loss what to use that wouldn't harm her. Victor. A loud voice reached them both and the figure turned its head. Lady Preet. It was Charlotte, but she had a fishtail and her upper body was covered in scales with it. Her human appearance was gone, her body was half fish with silver and green scales. Her bright red hair was now solid blood red, with matching eyes. Her hands had sharp black claws, and what almost terrified Victor the most was that angry snarl of pearly white teeth. Let go of the girl. Charlotte's teeth were sharp like fangs, glowing brightly in the water. She looked like a monstrous mermaid. The others were so afraid they swam off. Give me the boy. The figure's voice changed into a man's, an angry one at that. Victor took the chance and aimed a spell at the man's tail and it hit, leaving a nasty cut that began to bleed. The man loosened his hold on Gabrielle and Charlotte took the chance to snatch her out of his arms and cut the man's face across his left eye. Aggh. Got him. Victor tried to aim at him, but whoever the man was swam in another direction. Stupefy! Charlotte shouted and pointed her wand, but the stunner missed by an inch. The man took the chance to swim off as fast as he could before his transformation was almost gone. Victor gave off a light roar and Charlotte just pointed to her wristwatch. Hurry to the surface, time's almost up. She passed Gabrielle to him. I'll meet you up the go. Victor gave a nod and swam off as fast as he could to the stands. He saw out of the corner of his eye Charlotte raced after the kidnapper and disappeared. Holding the two unconscious people made him a bit slower, but he swam as fast as he could even over the kelp. Almost there. He saw the sunlight shining just over the stands, and with a great leap he burst out of the water face first with Harry and Gabrielle, all three gasping to catch their breath. Ugh! Harry started coughing, and Victor began to lead him and Gabrielle to the stands. Fleur came down. She had bruises and suction marks on her arms and legs. She never got past the grindlows. Gabrielle. She held out her hand to help her sister out of the water. The crowds cheered as Victor and Harry climbed up to the stands, and the others helped them wrap up in towels and robes from the freezing air. Harry. Victor hugged him close and kissed his head. Are you all right? I'm fine, but ow. He rubbed the back of his neck. What happened? You were taken, knocked out last night. You were made my hostage for the challenge. I saved you, and Gabrielle. Fleur couldn't finish. Speaking of Fleur, the French girl raced over to them with Gabrielle in tow, and she bent down to Harry's level. You both saved my little sister. Even if she wasn't yours to save. Thank you. She kissed both their cheeks. Thank you so much. Gabrielle gave a grateful nod. She was exhausted from the task. You're welcome. Victor helped Harry stand. Where's Mum? Harry looked around but didn't spot Charlotte. She vanished soon after Victor dove down. Mate. Devon answered him. "Dunno where, she just left." "She's there." Nikolai pointed to the water where they spotted Charlotte swimming their way, but Victor noticed her human appearance returned. Charlotte climbed out of the water and the boys handed her a towel, but she went straight for Harry and wrapped him in a hug. "Mum." He hugged back. "We'll talk later," she whispered to him. "Attention." Dumbledore's voice was loud like a blowhorn to make everyone silent. "The winner is Mr. Diggory. Second place goes to Victor Crumb. He shall be rewarded the honor for his attempts not only to save Mr. Preet, but also Mr. Lacour as well." "Yeah!" Durmstrang cheered for Victor, but he cared not about the applause. He just wanted to get Harry back to the castle and warm him up. "Dumbledore," Charlotte called out to the old headmaster. "We have to talk." Her stare stated immediately. "Yes, we should." Dumbledore turned and whispered something to Crouch, so Victor took the chance to get Harry onto a boat with their friends and row back to the castle. He spotted Snape watching them from a distance, but he seemed relieved. "Here, Harry." Victor helped him onto the dock. "Thanks, I can walk, you know." Mew. A faint noise made Harry's eyes light up. "Emerald." The cat ran over and jumped into Harry's arms. "Hey girl." She purred against him. "She missed you." Victor couldn't help but smile. "Harry, Mr. Crumb, if you'll please follow us." Blagrodner, McGonagall, Snape, Charlotte, Dumbledore, and Crouch all followed along into the castle, but they stopped in a bare room and put up charms as the students started filing inside the castle. They were free to go study now that the task was finished, but they would want answers later on, no doubt. "You said he'd be safe." Charlotte glared at Crouch. "He was perfectly safe, as you can see, Lady Preet." Crouch pointed at Harry. "Then why did someone try to kidnap him underwater?" Victor growled. "Kidnap?" Anton looked to Dumbledore. "I saw it. It was someone trying to disguise themselves at a failed attempt of a mermaid. They were struggling with the form they took, and they attacked me." Victor held Harry's shoulder. "I almost attacked him, but Lady Preet beat me to it." "You?" Snape turned to Charlotte. "Yes, me. I saw something amiss, so I went down to investigate. I saw a man holding Gabrielle Delacour hostage with a knife at her throat, demanding Victor to give him Harry." "You intervened in the task." Crouch growled slightly. "I intervened to save my son from something that wasn't supposed to happen. Victor would have still won second place regardless, but if I hadn't, Harry would have been kidnapped, plus Gabrielle and Victor would have been hurt." Her eyes were flashing again. "You could have." "Don't you start with the righteousness shit, Crouch." Charlotte snarled. "I know about your son, and I know what happened to your poor wife when you sent him away. You chose not to help your son before it all started, but I won't make the same mistake." When she said that, she was in the old man's face, and Crouch's face turned red with anger. He struggled to speak, but instead stormed out of the room and slammed the door. "That was unwise, Charlotte." Dumbledore had the nerve. "Shut up, you old fool, this is your fault for allowing this." Charlotte looked to Harry. "Sweetie, how do you feel?" "All right, but a bit cold." Victor wrapped his arms around Harry a bit tighter. "I'll take him to the suites. See if the elves can make him some food, easy on the stomach, so try soup." Victor only nodded and led Harry out of the room, and the boy didn't argue. "I'll come see you later." They heard that before the door shut behind them. "Charlotte, I understand your anger, and I'm sorry you weren't informed. It wasn't my intention to keep you unaware." "Yes, well, see to it that it won't happen again." Anton nodded in agreement. "Two of my students could have been harmed fatally, tournament or no. You'd think your own ministry would try and prevent such threats. Your minister is an incompetent man. Wouldn't trust him with my life." Charlotte rolled her eyes. "Yes, well, they're all safe now, so we can hope for the better." "Better? It's not going to get much better yet, Dumbledore." The redhead glared. Everything that's happened so far is because someone is trying to kidnap Harry and use him to revive Voldemort. The final task is the last step. You've seen this? Snape stared. I have, though as for where it will happen I am unsure. All I could see were headstones and crypts, and an old house with a single light. It's obviously a cemetery, but which one I can't tell, and Sirius and Remus are looking around for it. That's why they hadn't shown for the task. Black and Lupin? You would trust them? Brown eyes snapped to the potions master. More than I would trust you, and I know they'd never let Harry down. You can assist if you wish, but I warn all of you now, if anything happens to Harry because of your incompetence again, then you'll see exactly how dangerous I can be. No one dared say a word. Now I have to go see my son. If you need me you'll know where to look. Anton? I shall accompany you, Charlotte. The two left without another word. Everyone else in the room remained quiet, but Snape broke the silence. As much as I detest her, Albus, she is right, and I will ensure this time that Harry won't be harmed in the next task. I don't wish to be on the burning end of her rage again. All right, Severus, do as you wish, but be mindful. HMPH. The potions master left the headmaster and his deputy behind. Albus. Minerva looked to him. I know, Minerva, I know.
Well, I do hope you enjoyed the videos so far and video game content. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and leave a comment down below. And I noticed 40% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. If you can, please subscribe to the channel. It'll help me and help the channel grow. Until next time, goodbye!